Sani Bonani. Let me first start by introducing myself, as much as many of you may know who MaZwane is. I am Rita Zwane, popularly known as MaZwane, especially in Gauteng, after opening a busy corner. Just first thing that I want to do, especially to Zanele, I know this request was done like in February. I would have loved to be attending this event in person, but like who mentioned to you, I had family matters that I really needed to attend, so please accept my apology. I'm also trying to think and figure out that it's always best when we do these seminars or the encouragement in person, because then there are questions that should be asked after. But I'll try my best to wrap my close to 30-year journey in business and wrap it in about 15 minutes, and hopefully many of you will take something from that journey, and that will help you to move forward in business. Well, I came to Joburg when I was very young, but I've always had in my mind, back from KZN where I come from, in my mind I've always known that at some point, someday, I would want to start a business. I want financial independent, and for me to do that, because there was no educational background that will assist me to understand how to run a business. But again, when you are an entrepreneur, obviously, it just runs in your veins. My mom was a hustler of note. She is 92 years now, and 92 years old. I learned a lot from her. I continue to learn that. But most of what I was doing when I was younger, knowing what I would want to become one day, but getting around it was a different story. And I would buy books and read as many books as possible, find out how successful people think, what makes them to carry on, what makes them, what's the edge that they have, to be able to succeed in life. So those books helped me a lot. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why I ended up writing a book as well, Conquering the Poverty of the Mind, because I wanted people that could not reach MaZwane and to access the book in Africa or internationally. So I wrote them for that reason, because I know how much that assisted me as well. And I would share with you small, maybe stories, not as much, because I've already shown you the book, and I would like you to read the book, because that's my memoir. It tells about my entire journey. But the important part is when you have a vision, when you have a dream. And the thing is, with the dream, it's very difficult to, even when you share with the next person what you see, but remember, it's your vision. They don't see that. They may help you along the way. But to carry on, you need perseverance when as a person, normally what I would tell people is that to start a business, it's not difficult. The difficulty comes when you have to continue, But to start it, all you need is actually hard work and commitment and that vision. But to continue now, you need the drive and you need a dedication. And to finish, it's very important to make sure that you are consistent. And inconsistency means when you start a business, you must have an end goal. It is very important, because if you don't have an end goal, along the way, when the going gets tough, it's easy to give up. But that end goal, it becomes your roadmap. It helps you to know that actually I am not where I wanted to be. I will give you my example as MaZwane, when I started Ushisa Nyama and created the entire subsector of Ushisa Nyama in food and beverage industry in South Africa. Everyone knows Ushisa Nyama is about selling pap fleece and of course good music. And then you make money. But you can imagine for close to 25 years, in fact in October I'll be doing 25 years, the question you would ask, why then MaZwane do you still continue? because at this point, you've raised the children. Anyone who starts business, the first thing is the immediate need. The immediate need is to be able to feed your family, is to be able to live a certain lifestyle. You drive those cars. I mean, I would say exotic cars because I love the exotic cars and the big ones. But once all that you've gotten all what you wanted, the life that you wanted, then what next? I can imagine if I did not have that end goal, by now, probably I would be down in the villages where my mom grew up, and I can just go and and farm and live Gauteng, and have sort of like a peace of mind, tranquility in the villages. But my end goal has always been, when I started to Shisanyama, it was not just about attracting tourists. It was not just about the experience that I wanted to create. When I'm saying it's Africa's ultimate braai experience, but I was looking at the entire value chain of Shisanyama in food and beverage. I was looking at the fact that I'm building something here that it's a legacy that I can live. It will live long after I have gone. And when I'm talking about the value chain, I dream to see one day, starting from the top of the value chain, where there are livestock farmers, there are abattoirs, there are meat wholesales, and all that value chain forms part of Shisanyama because it becomes the Shisanyama ecosystem. Right now, we are at the bottom of the value chain because from where we are just selling directly to the consumer. We still need a long way to go. And that long way to go, that's what keeps me going. That's what makes me wake up in the morning. That's what, even in the middle of the pandemic, I'm not sure if many of you know the shop that we opened at the Mall of Tembisa in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, we opened that shop because we wanted to create something more like a franchise. We wanted to be able to say, if we take this brand to Africa, we need to understand their culture, because it's more about celebrating our African lifestyle and identity and celebrating our culture in many different ways. And where is the best place to do that except starting here in Gauteng? Gauteng is a melting pot for cultural diversity. So for me, it was far bigger than just Shisanyama. And as a result, I still continue even now. As for the challenges that I've faced over the years, as a serial entrepreneur, because that's what I do. I see entrepreneurs. When you're an entrepreneur, you spot opportunities. And when you spot opportunities, you then have to find ways. How then do you, spotting that opportunity and making it happen? Because many people can see opportunity, but it's such a challenge to get that dream or to see that opportunity and make it happen so that you can get returns out of it. So many challenges that I've had over the years. I'll just mention two, because the other one actually meant if we did not get that change in policy, in legislation, if I may put it that way, I don't think we'll be talking about Shisanyama today, because when you come to the townships, there were no restaurants before our democratic government in the townships. It would either be shipping or taverns. And I knew exactly that I wanted to open Shisanyama that would more like a restaurant. But then there were challenges with the liquor licenses. And with that challenge, that is one challenge that always when I think about, I realize that if nothing was done about it, we would not even talking about the ecosystem. This is one sector that has created so much job opportunity. But come 2003, the Proclamation Act was signed by the then Economic Development MEC to allow small businesses in township and liquor traders to have those temporary licenses. Some had shipping licenses, so that they will be able to understand how to apply for a liquor license. And there was so much bureaucracy even if you were trying to apply for that liquor license. So we were given that 18 months window period. That 18 months window period, I call it as a breakthrough. Hence today we talk about this sector. It wouldn't have happened. Of course, by the time that window period came in, I can tell you from the industry, many times police were coming and taking the stock because I did not have a license. Of course, I was operating illegally back then, but we just needed that visionary that was going to say, whilst they are trying to understand how to apply for a license, at least let's give them that 18 months window period opportunity, which helped a lot. So when I think of challenges in the industry, I think about that. Number two, the biggest challenge that I also faced was when I wanted to move from informal trading to formal, and coming with a concept that many financiers did not even know about, Ushisanyama, and you were not talking about maybe grilled chicken franchise, or you were talking about brands that are famous and you want funding for that. You were starting by just telling the concept that this is what I want to achieve. This is one product that I want even tourists, even someone coming from overseas, when they say, what experience am I going to have? And then they think of Ushisanyama. Because when they think of Ushisanyama, they know they will have that authentic experience and that township vibe, because Ushisanyama really it started in the township. But convincing the financiers to say, I know this is a winning formula, this is a winning a product, it was quite a challenge, such that I had to sell my house and moved into an RDP house, and in fact more like swapping with someone who was owning an RDP house at the corner in Ebony Park. You can imagine moving from a house that was worth at the time just over 300,000 moving to a house that was just under 30,000, because there was no bedroom. It was like, in fact, one bedroom, a very small bedroom that you can't put a double bed in there. So that is the sacrifice I had to make to show people that needed to finance me as well, to say, I believe in this product. So that's maybe another advice that I would give to those that are starting. You have to show confidence in your product, and because when you believe in it, then they will see, and they will be able to help you. And also mentors. It always helps when you have mentors, because there are times when you feel like, I don't think I want to do this anymore now. I just don't think. You're looking around, maybe you're not getting the returns as fast as you thought you would get, and maybe you've used your money, your savings, and some that are working, maybe they've resigned at work, but you always need mentors that will help you, that have been there, that have traveled that journey and the road, to take your hand and assist you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because I can tell you, it does happen. It does happen, but other than that, you also need that ambition, something that has to drive you from inside, that is so strong, where you want to do this, and you must be very, very, very passionate about it. Because for me to carry on, for 25 years, and for the past 2 years under the pandemic, when there was no financial assistance that we got from anywhere, to be honest, but it would have been easy to say, let me just close shop, collect what I've made over the years, pay who I owe, and start something else. But that passion, and that's what keeps me, and that ambition, and knowing the end goal as well, where do I want to get. And it is Women's Month, of course. And with Women's Month, we all need to remember as women that we are like sort of naturers. We nature, we raise children, and sometimes I would look at my mom and think that I wish, Nami, I could be that kind of a mother or kind of a woman that our daughters would want to become, because there are those in front of us, that has showed how fearless women can be when they are driven by a certain goal, and when they want to leave a legacy for their children. Myself saying that, I always look at people like Winnie Mandela and many others, struggle icons, allow me to say this. And if they were not driven by making sure that they live a better life for the generation to come, it was no longer about them. And that's what I look at, and I think whatever we do as women, it must get to a point where we say, what is it that we're going to leave for generation to come? Because Bona, what they left us, they made sure that they are the kind of generation that wanted to leave us, with freedom. And when we talk about freedom, we talk about political freedom, but there is also economic emancipation. And women of today, which is ourselves now, whatever we do, I would encourage that let's just keep that in mind, that what is it, or ask ourselves the questions, what is it that we're going to be leaving for the next generation? What is it they're going to talk about when they think about our generation? So we have to assist them now and fight as the previous women that I'm talking about. They fought for us to be free, and we too need to fight for our children and the next generation to get that economic emancipation, because financial freedom, it's something that gives you, that pushes you, that gives you that freedom where you no longer thinking about yourself, and you think about what else can I do and how else can I help others? How can I, help even my community? So as women, on Women's Month, maybe what I'm sharing the most is that let's pull up each other, pull up each other, let's lift each other, lift as you rise. When you have something, just see who else around you and that you can assist, let it be like a seed, let's plant that seed, let that seed multiply, because by the time we leave this earth, because one day we'll all leave this earth, we will say we did what we were called to do. Because being on earth, we are, it's more like a calling. We all have different talents, and at some point those talents, they must multiply, and even when we leave, then we are proud of what we left behind. Women must never forget the power they hold. In fact, we must never forget the power we hold. We've got a voice, and whenever it is necessary, that voice needs to come out. I remember Winnie Madikizela Mandela, may her soul rest in peace, her quote when she was saying, the harder they try to keep her husband silent in jail, the louder her voice will become outside. We are izimbokodwe, siyizimbokotwe. Wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokotwe, ubophasopa. All the best for this event, and happy Women's Month from MaZwane. Thank you.